Drake, famous singer, is in family court today with his ex-wife, I guess. Don't really know her name. Oh, hello. Oh my God, Drake. How are you? Oh, that's hilarious. He just walked by.
Welcome to a much more refined, poised, and pleasant podcast.
Pleasant? I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the energetic BBL buffoon has taken his madness all the way to the moon, shining like a theater kid, while the Taylor Swift lookalike joined forces twice with Bobbi Althoff before ever giving the hungry hamburglar of hip-hop DJ Big Mac a proper interview.
So far glowing magnets. Add to cart. Is there a limit, like one per person? We got to get a Drake body pillow now. Pause. How many of these can we get? 30? Oh, wow.
I know there's been a lot of talk lately, but when the Canadian clown starts acting wild, we break it down every day. So drop a like and subscribe as we look at the foolish tricks the fake Montana is pulling just to keep his name alive.
Oh, shout out to all the 12-year-olds in the building. What's up? It's mad 12-year-olds in this.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some interesting updates here. Because I'm sure you've heard the OV fans talking about Drake asking UMG if they have any allegations they've heard about Kendrick supposedly abusing anyone as part of his lawsuit. And yes, Drake is actually suing his own record label while saying, I know I also accuse Kendrick in Family Matters, but I want to prove to the world that I really believe those rumors about the abuse and about Dave Free being the father. And he's asking to see any communication the label may have had about these rumors to show it wasn't something he just made up. And even funnier for the drama, he seems to think he'll win the rap battle a year and a half later if somehow, on the 1 in a million chance UMG actually does have internal documents proving those Family Matters allegations were true.
I ask, what do you think about Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, getting Record of the Year?
I don't care nothing about that.
No.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. All the best to him, man.
Okay, cool.
I don't do that bullshit.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
He's trying to tilt the game, but you can't fake real influence. And I say all that because both Kendrick and Drake threw wild allegations at each other, with Drake pushing the abuse story and the claim about Dave Free being the father. Wow. Kendrick came back with the PDF angle and the so-called fake daughter, which is something I've never really touched on. Because unlike the OV fans who are desperate to dig up anything that might prove Kendrick assaulted his partner, they don't actually care about the morality of it. They just want it to be true. So they can argue that Drake somehow won a rap battle he already lost a year and a half ago. But unlike them, I never cared to dig into Drake's family tree or try to figure out who his real child is, because we're here to talk music, to laugh at the foolishness sometimes, and mainly to break down bars. But when information shows up, that's just too suspicious to ignore. Then as Pusha would say, so be it, because I'm not out here hunting for Drake's daughter. But we may have just gotten an update that looks very questionable when it comes to his entire family situation.
Hello, everybody. I'm at court. Today, March 27th, 2025. Drake, famous singer, is in family court today with his ex-wife, I guess. Don't really know her name. In courtroom 103, family court. They've banned the public from the courtroom. No public can watch this. Divorce? I guess. I'm not sure, because I'm not allowed in the courtroom. This is not a good day. And I believe it's unconstitutional to not allow the public in the courtroom just because they're famous. Oh, hello. Oh my God, Drake. How are you? Oh, that's hilarious. He just walked by.
So do you guys remember back on March 30th, 2025, when we got the Drake Nokia music video, which was a huge deal for him since he called it one of the most important videos he's ever made? shot it in IMAX, and even premiered it at a movie theater. And the whole thing was basically copying the style of Kendrick's Not Like Us video. And while we're on that topic, it's worth pointing out how a lot of Drake's moves since the battle have lined up with important moments for Kendrick, like when Kendrick did the Super Bowl, and a week later Drake dropped the Sexy Sleepy Song album. Then when Kendrick released GNX that same week was when we first saw the lawsuit against UMG. And on March 30th with the Nokia video, everyone was saying he was copying Not Like Us. But what many didn't notice was that just 3 days before, on March 27th, a courtroom sketch artist actually posted a video of Drake walking into Family Court, which is hilarious because if you've ever seen the Diddy sketches, then you know that when cameras aren't allowed, a sketch artist documents the case for historical record. And this artist named David Louis Wall was just casually posting on Instagram complaining that the court was closed for a famous person, so he couldn't do his job. And without realizing who Drake was, he happened to catch him on video walking right by as he entered the building.
2025, David Louis Wall here, in and out. That's what I'm calling this series, I guess, of my court art experience. Anyways, today I did the Drake trial again. He showed up, family court again. Here's his bodyguard in the hall. Still won't let me in the room. That's one of the reporters. And I'm going to show you. This was his girlfriend. She was sitting in the hall. And a police officer. Didn't quite get him. But anyways, yeah. They did put a sign on the door this time that said closed to the public. That was sad. I'd rather be sitting in the courtroom than sitting in the hall, seeing justice, you know, making sure that everything is up and up. And that's about it. Thank you very much. There's a quick shot of the Superior Court and City Hall on this snowy day. There's the Superior Court. He was in family court in there. And so, anyways, take care, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow I think I'll be in traffic court. Okay, down on Front Street. Bye.
Now you might be wondering, okay, Drake is in family court, but what does that have to do with the whole fake daughter story? And the truth is, you can go to family court for a lot of reasons, like divorce, custody battles, child support disputes, visitation rights, paternity claims, spousal support, adoption, or even protection orders. And David, the courtroom sketch artist, wasn't necessarily there just by chance because he was actually on the job that day, but he was upset that the court was completely closed to the public, which he argued was unfair and unconstitutional. And it raises the question of why Drake would want the entire courtroom shut down when it's not like his known child. Adonis was there with him for protective reasons since he was only there with his bodyguard. But here's the twist. I got the story a bit mixed up earlier because this artist actually was working during Drake's family court hearing, but he wasn't allowed to go inside and hear what the judge was saying to Drake. So whatever happened behind those doors remains a secret, although he did manage to sketch Drake sitting in the lobby with a mysterious woman. And this took place during Drake's second court appearance on April 2nd, 2025, just days after the first one on March 27th.
His girlfriend, she was sitting in the hall. And a police officer didn't quite get him.
So as you can see, Drake was in family court on 2 different occasions between late March and early April. And what's also interesting is that back in February and March, he was on his Anita Max Win Tour in Australia and New Zealand, which quickly turned into the Anita Max Lost Tour after he cancelled multiple dates from March 4th to March 16th, blaming it on scheduling conflicts. But now we know that just 10 days after that last cancelled show, Drake was in family court. And the very person whose job it is to sit in the courtroom and document the case wasn't allowed inside. Just like nobody else was. because no one was allowed to report on what was happening. No one was allowed to sketch it, and no one was allowed to even be in the courtroom to see what was going down. And you can even tell in the artist clip how frustrated he was about being shut out.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Well, it's 10:45 and I did try to find out whether or not Drake's case is open or closed to the public. And basically a woman named Theodora in the family court office said she spoke to the judge, Justice Diamond, and he said that 1.3 was not open to the public that day. He did not say, well, she said she did not say Drake's case, just the room itself was not open to the public. So anyways, they would not take my letter, so I'm going to read the letter to you that I wrote to Justice Diamond. Dear Justice Diamond, the intent of this letter is to express my dismay and disbelief about the abuse I experienced being rudely and aggressively thrown out of your courtroom, 1-3, March 27th, 2025, Drake Family Court Trial. I entered the courtroom quietly, respectfully, to not disturb as I customarily do. The commissioner signaled for me to meet him at the doors between the courtroom and the court hall. I was expecting him to inform me that the public needs to be out of the room for a particular private argument or ruling on the procedures. I did not expect the commissioner to shove me into Drake's bodyguard, who was in between the doors. The bodyguard started yelling at me and proceeded to humiliate me in front of 2 Toronto police constables. I understand the judge and commissioners in Canadian courts, while presiding over open court proceedings, have jurisdiction over the public present. They can enforce rules, jurisdiction over the public present. They can enforce rules, maintain order, and can take action against those who disrupt or disrespect the court. I did neither disrespect or disrupt or disrespect the court. I'm a 63-year-old man and have respected and I have a respect and love for our Canadian open court philosophy. I abide by all court publication bans and court orders. With that in mind, I respectfully ask, did you issue a ruling to restrict all public access in this court proceedings, in open court proceedings? As a court artist with 23 years of experience in the courtroom, I have never been removed without a clear ruling or explanation from a presiding judge or justice of the peace. And never have I been physically forced out. Most of the court documents I produce are donated to the Archives of Ontario, first to Her Majesty the Queen, and now to His Majesty the King. Instead of capturing the scene of Drake's security and police barring the courtroom to the public, I believe a proper painting of this historical case would better serve Ontario. Such a painting could stand as a testament to open court principles, representing all people, regardless of what.
The sketches show a woman who clearly doesn't look like the mother of Drake's son Adonis. And when you compare them side by side, the difference is obvious. But what's even more interesting is that this same courtroom sketch artist went back to the court on March 31st and uploaded a video to his YouTube channel explaining how he had been unfairly treated when he tried to enter on the day Drake was there. And in that video, he said he even asked inside the court whether the hearing Drake was involved in was closed to the public, and they confirmed that yes, it was completely shut off.
Welcome to a much more refined, poised, and pleasant podcast.
Pleasant? I don't know about that.
I know.
I think that was just a word
I'm trying to get you brand deals.
Oh, so you want me to be more pleasant?
No, I'm just saying.
That's not what I need to do.
I was trying to pitch.
Is that what I need to get more brand deals, be more pleasant?
Hey now. Welcome to a much more scenic, serene, and solidarity.
What are you getting at?
Welcome to a much more scenic and serene and serious. It's not going to be serious though.
Is it not? I think it is.
Welcome to a much more scenic, serene, sexy.
No, try it again. Run it back.
I liked it.
I don't like that one.
Welcome to a much more scenic, serene, equally sickening.
Okay, maybe I should just do it.
Okay, good.
Welcome to the first episode of my new podcast that no one asked for.
Not this again.
You can hear him say he's had 23 years of experience and has never seen anything like this. Never been shut out of a courtroom without a clear ruling or explanation. And when you compare it to the Drake UMG lawsuit, there were reporters inside, writing down every single word from that hearing. So the question is, what makes whatever Drake has going on in family court so different? And sure, this could be related to Adonis, since we know Drake and Adonis's mom didn't start out on the best terms before eventually working out their co-parenting and now seeming to get along fine. But it still doesn't make sense for him to close off an entire courtroom in Toronto for a hearing about his son when Adonis wasn't even physically present, especially considering Adonis was born in California, his mom lives in France, Drake is a dual citizen, and there doesn't seem to be a reason for this to be handled in Toronto if it really was about his son, and while you can go down rabbit. Holes online about mysterious children with the last name Graham being tied to Drake. That's not what we do on this channel. What we will report on is the fact that Drake was clearly seen in Toronto family court with the public completely barred from entry, and even a man who had worked at that courthouse for more than 20 years wasn't allowed in. And meanwhile, all the OV fans keep talking about how Family Matters is about to age perfectly. And that somehow we'll discover Dave Free, who still works with Kendrick, is really the father of a child Kendrick is raising, or that Kendrick has secretly been abusive, or that a supposed Las Vegas incident reported only by a tabloid known for lies is somehow proof, or that one random security guard has the answers. And the reality is these fans don't care about morality at all. They just want something that flips the image back in Drake's favor after he lost a rap battle a year and a half ago with work that simply couldn't match Kendrick. But no matter what they try to prove now, it doesn't change the fact that Meet the Grahams didn't age poorly just because Kendrick mentioned a daughter. It aged exactly how it did, because the music itself stood stronger. Meet the Grahams aged well because Kendrick dropped it just 30 minutes after Family Matters. An unprecedented chess move that instantly pulled the public's attention away from anything Drake said in that track and killed any real interest in whether those claims were valid or not. And now, a year and a half later, if no one cared back, then do you really think that's going to suddenly change the story of this rap battle? Because sure, if Kendrick had actually done the things Drake accused him of, it might hurt his image, but it still wouldn't change the fact that Drake already lost this battle a year and a half ago. And correct me if I'm wrong, but before Pusha, T pulled his shocking 2018 move by revealing Drake's then hidden son. Were rap battles ever really about gossip and tea? Or were they about who could tear down their opponent's character in the most creative way? So even if Drake was going to family court over a hidden daughter Kendrick mentioned in Meet the Grahams, would that make the song age better? Absolutely. But would it flip the outcome of the battle? No, because we're already a year and a half removed, and while it would open the door for more clowning on La Brenna, the real reason Meet the Grahams hit so hard wasn't just the hidden daughter angle, it was because Kendrick was penning letters to every single member of Drake's family. Barely half an hour after Drake thought he dropped the red button track of the whole battle, and because that red button didn't explode the way Drake hoped, no amount of truth coming out now, whether it's Drake with a secret daughter or Kendrick with abuse allegations, can change the fact that this battle ended a long time ago. And even Drake himself in his UMG lawsuit talks about what a reasonable listener would think when hearing "Not Like Us," asking if the average person would actually believe he's a PDF just from the song. And the same logic applies here, because whether or not these allegations turn out to be true now, the reasonable listener already formed their opinion on the beef a year and a half ago. And while the songs might age differently, the outcome of the battle has already been decided. You can't change that. But speaking of the lawsuit, we just got another update from the Canadian Cupcake, and if you remember, he was trying to get a hold of Kendrick Lamar's contracts from UMG, and as part of the case, both sides, UMG and Drake's team, are exchanging documents in a process called discovery, so each can gather the information they need, with UMG defending themselves and Drake trying to prove his claim that Kendrick and UMG teamed up in a massive plan to damage his name through the release and promotion of Not Like Us. And now Drake's lawyers recently got a copy of Kendrick's UMG contract, but UMG labeled it as highly confidential, attorney's eyes only, which meant a lot of the important details were removed, since letting Drake actually see it would create a huge conflict of interest if Kendrick was on a very different deal than him. So while UMG blacked out key information, Drake's lawyers argued they still needed that contract as evidence and asked the judge to let it be filed privately under seal with sensitive sections hidden. And what this really means is that only Drake's lawyers and the judge can see Kendrick's contract, while Drake himself never gets to, making one of his battle bars: "Pull your contracts cause we got to see the splits." Aged badly, since he won't be seeing those splits, while on the other hand, Kendrick's line on Euphoria, "I like Drake with the melodies, I don't like Drake when he acts tough," has aged perfectly, as we see the once confident actor looking paranoid and spiraling, and maybe in an attempt to distract the public from this strange family court situation that has now come to light, the same way he dropped the Nokia video right after that first court appearance. Drake coincidentally announced on the very same day the sketch artist revealed he wasn't allowed inside the courtroom, that he and Bobbi Althoff will be doing a part 2 of their painfully cringe interview. It was basically like they had a slumber party together and talked about absolutely nothing for an hour and a half about 2 years ago. And there's some interesting backstory here, because Bobbi Althoff was just a random TikToker in her early 20s, married with 2 kids. And according to her, she even missed her own child's first birthday just to sit in bed with Drake for this strange interview or podcast, whatever you want to call it. And you can imagine her husband wasn't thrilled about that, but about a week or 2 after it dropped, Bobbi suddenly blew up from it, only for the video to mysteriously get taken down. Drake unfollowed her, and it was quickly decided by the public that she really wasn't talented at all, since her whole podcast relied on using her guests to carry the personality of the show, with Lil Yachty being the one who introduced Drake to her in the first place. And even after she interviewed Yachty, she later trashed him, showing she wasn't really grateful for the massive opportunities she was getting despite having no clear talent to back them up. And eventually the entire podcast series, including the Drake episode, was cancelled, but now she's re-announcing it with Drake once again back in bed with her.